Hey everybody, welcome back to Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. The morning's almost over, so we're getting close to the end. 10 years ago, a man named Sissel took a little girl named Lynn hostage and then was killed by a meteorite fragment. Tonight, a man named Sissel met a detective named Lynn at a junkyard on the edge of town and then was killed by a bullet. But the scene I find waiting for me on the other end of the phone line feels like the final nail in the coffin of my lost memory. I see. Myself. There you are, Commander Sith. Finally.
Sissel, where have you been, my good man? We've been looking everywhere for you.
I had a little unfinished business I had to take care of. Didn't think it would take this long. What about your people? They sure went out of their way to mess me up.
I say, I believe we fulfilled every one of your conditions in our little deal. What right do you have to complain about anything outside of our bargain?
We can talk about that when we get together.
This will be our last communication by telephone. We'll arrive in 1 hour. I look forward to seeing you, Sissel.
Dawn is approaching. The darkness surrounding my own mystery is deep, but I know it's always darkest before the dawn.
Yes, we're nearing the final stages of our little deal, my good man.
Yes, sir. All preparations are complete, sir. We just had a report, sir. Lights have been spotted, sir.
Have they now? By all means, let me have a look. Yes, we're very close.
We will now disconnect from the communication cable and have no service until we arrive, sir.
Very well.
So where are they? Inside like a tank? A submarine? Nice try, Inspector Cabanella.
But you could never stop me.
See ya, sucker. So, that submarine guy and his people have a deal going with me, do they? If that's the case, they probably aren't the ones who killed me, right? Anyway, there's definitely something behind the inspector's death. I think I better talk to him. Hey, do you think you could wake up for me? Oh boy, still unconscious, huh? Guess he hasn't been dead for very long then. I'll just go ahead and go back to 4 minutes before his death. I'm a little nervous about what I might see there, though. But if that's where I'm gonna find my answers, I can't run away from it. Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call. That's a good boy. Gee, a hostage sure is a handy thing. It gives me a complete control over the top police inspector in the country. What's the matter? All those broken bones smart a bit? What's it like to feel pain? Does it make you feel alive?
Why are you doing this?
Now, is that any kind of a question for a top inspector to ask? Isn't it obvious? Revenge, of course. Revenge on all the people who stole my life away 10 years ago. Don't be ridiculous. It was a meteorite that stole your life. Or have you forgotten that?
Wrong. I was murdered by all of you.
Detective Jowd, who chased me down and forced me into a corner, even though I was innocent. Lynn, that girl who was running there where I was running. Lynn, she was just an innocent girl playing in the park. If that brat hadn't been there, I never would have thought of taking a hostage. That's the most self-centered garbage I've ever heard. And finally you, Inspector Cabanela. Me? If you haven't done what you did, I never would have pointed a gun at that kid. You were so proud of your spotless record. My case was the only blot on it, wasn't it? Only two people know the real truth, me and Detective Jowd. I bet tonight's execution will be quite a relief to you, won't it? One of the people who know about the stain on your record will disappear for good. That's why you didn't help him escape from prison. That's the kind of guy you are. I got nothing to say to you. You'd never listen anyway. Ye gods! Now then, Inspector, time to make a big red stain on your spotless white coat. This was another condition of my deal, to wipe out everybody who knew about Temsic. Revenge? That's what I'm up to? None of this makes any sense. Hey, man. Mind telling me what's going on? Inspector Cabanela, he's awake. My head is spinning, baby. Am I to understand that this Cabanela character who got shot is me? That's right. And you're supposed to be the scoundrel there who just shot me. I guess so. But you couldn't be, could you? Huh? After all, the guy in the red suit just walked right out the door. So, who are you? Guess I just have to face it. I'm not that Sissel guy. I'm somebody who's searching for himself. That's why I'm here to save you. At the very least, you have information about that guy in red. Information that I need. So, you came on a rescue mission now, did you? Nothing like the sound of that, baby. Because there's a very important life here somewhere. A life valuable to this nation. Okay, so do your thing, baby. Look at him. There's something emanating from his body. Is it the sign? Is it really the sign of having special powers of the dead? So, you're a manipulator too. I have ghost tricks, powers of the dead, yeah, but I can't control living creatures. Anywho, I think you'd better be very careful. The guy in red is a manipulator. Naturally, he knows about powers like yours. If he realizes you're here, things might get a little sticky. You're right, I better be careful. So I can't manipulate things while he's watching. What's the matter? Are those broken bones smart a bit? Yeah, we already watched all this. Now I can move. Look at this place. What in the world happened here? I think I'm starting to remember. Something bad happened here. And now, there's another death laying hidden here. What? Another death? Didn't I tell you from the start? Didn't I say there was a very important life valuable to the nation here? I thought you were talking about you. I'm just a crazy character in a white coat, baby. Oh, someone else is here. Hey, come to think of it, where's that old pigeon guy? Excuse me. Are you awake?
Of course. I never sleep during work hours. Professor, do you recognize me? There's only one crazy character in a white coat that I know of. He hasn't lost his memory. I'm not the type who likes losing things, but never mind that. Campanella, this is quite a surprising guest you've brought with you, pretending like he didn't just blow up the place.
Are you talking about me?
No, this is a different guy. I'm his guest, actually. It said he came to rescue us. Unlike you, my sharp friend, he still hasn't gotten his memory back. Pitiful. Oh, that hurts.
Anyway, now we'll be going back to 4 minutes before your death, in order to change your fate, that is.
But aren't we already in the past, man?
But we can go back even further. I've done it before. I still don't see a path to saving Inspector Campanella, but if we go back further, maybe I'll find a lead.
How many times do I have to tell you, Professor? This place is dangerous. Don't be daft. I can't leave now. He's completely dead, but just as I thought, I'm getting a reading. This is the source of his powers. If I remove it... He's not dead, he's just not there. The true form of the manipulator isn't something you can detect, it's a spirit. Ridiculous. So, you figured it all out, huh? You're a clever man, Inspector Campanella. So, it's really true. I wasted a lot of time tonight because of you, Inspector. And it's all just like you said. I died 10 years ago. This body is just a vessel, a shell. I control everything. The shell, people, just like I controlled the Justice Minister and Lynn. So it's true. You were manipulating my baby that time. You made her shoot your shell. But why? Why would you do a thing like that? To create conclusive evidence, you know, on that security tape. Now she's a murderer too. She'll suffer just like Zhao did. Now then, Professor, I'm afraid it's time for you to die. I don't have any grudge against you. I'm even grateful to you. Oh yeah? So why don't you let me live then? I'll be leaving this country forever tonight, but before I do, I'll need to erase all evidence that these powers of mine exist. Along with the contraption in this ring. This time, the thing will work the way it was meant to, and it'll all be over. Cupid won't turn this time. He'll shoot his arrow this way. Professor, look out! Dynamite, eh? When the devil did he put that there? He planned it all out tonight. Having my baby shoot him, having his corpse disappear. His corpse disappeared. The medical examiner, remember him? He was a complete and utter imposter. He said he was going to take the corpse back to the lab, but he'd already made a deal with the manipulator to meet him and give the body back. But I wasn't going to let that happen, baby. You saw through that plan, eh? I noticed right away the medical examiner didn't know the first thing about examining a body. I knew he was a fake, and I tracked him down and bought him off. Bought him off? I had him smuggle the corpse to this room. I thought we could find the source of his powers. Of course, never in my wildest dreams did I think his abilities were the powers of the dead. Anyway, there isn't much time. He's leaving the country before dawn. And I'm gonna follow him, of course, after I save you two. But something's been nagging at the back of my mind.
I remember what Ray said to me tonight. He said that spirits cease to exist when the day breaks. But if that's true, how could a spirit from 10 years ago still be here? No time for thinking now, baby. Action's the name of the game. Work your magic and take us back, even further into the past. Okay. Alright, man, just jump in there and stop that explosion, would you? Easy enough for you to say. Foolish of you to say, too. If you stop the explosion, he'll just do me in some other way. Fair enough, then jump in there and take care of the man in red, would you? I repeat, easy enough for you to say. And most likely impossible to boot. That huge explosion didn't even make him bat an eye. Well, what do you propose then, Professor, pray tell? Your best bet is to save me during the explosion without him noticing. Easy enough for you to say. Sheesh, what is with these people? Anywho, jump in there and do something. Can't really go many places. We already watched this. There's 2 rats down there. As you perhaps have already noticed, time is running out, baby. Yeah, no perhaps about it, I know. But you know, there aren't a whole lot of things I can use my ghost tricks on in here. Looks like it's all over. Unless I find another path, I'm sort of in a deadlock here. Sissel. Hey, I know that voice. Help me. Where are you? Find me before I'm carried away. What's with the frail-sounding call for help? He's in here somewhere. A friend of yours? Yep, little guy that looks a little fragile, but has the strength that'll surprise you. Well, he's asking for you to find him. And before he's carried away, no less. But I'm almost out of time. Should I look for him? There's not many places I can go. Can't go on the Cupid. Not even sure where I'm going. Sissel! There he is again. Farewell. Sounds like your little pal was carried away. Where was he? Maybe you should have tried to find him somehow. Maybe you should have looked around, you know, from corner to corner, baby. Now what? Maybe I should start over. we've seen all this. Come on. Hear the mysterious voice. There it is.
Sissel, here I am!
Oh, hey, it's...
Sissel!
What are you doing there?
Do you really have to ask? Seriously, are you really going there?
No, that's okay. Never mind. Anyway, I need your powers. Will you help me out?
Of course. Here, let me come join you. Okay, here I am, Sissel.
No, maybe things will flow in a new direction.
Even though the flow of the sewer is a little bit stinky. Okay, let's stop that explosion.
No, we can't do that.
Okay, let's take care of the man in red then.
No, we can't do that either.
We can't do this, we can't do that. What can we do?
We let the explosion happen. Then we rescue the old pigeon guy without the red man in red noticing. And your powers are the key to all of it, Missile.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'll do my best.
We're talking about a matter of seconds. We can't miss our chance. Change. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Now all the rats can jump in.
Now that's what I call some proper commotion. And making that trash can dance. Truth be told, I feel a bit like dancing myself. It's getting harder and harder to hold my wild instincts back.
What a dangerous bunch. Whoops. There we go.
Do you remember how to use my powers?
Yeah, you can swap things that have the same shape, right?
Well, to be precise, I can swap things that look like they have the same shape.
What's the difference?
As I was being carried away by the wind and falling into the river, I realized something. If you look at the thing from different angles, it looks different.
You know, that's a pretty good point for a little doggy who came in with the sewage. So now I just have to wait for the right time. I already did this, come on. Still looks the same. Looks like I missed my chance. Animal instincts are starting to surface. I know what to do with the rats. There we go. Look out! So now just the pigeon was caught in the explosion. Sorry, little pigeon. That's for you, Inspector. I have a little job for you. I can't move. I think I have 4 or 5 broken bones. I don't mind. It won't prevent me from manipulating you. It might make it hurt a little when I move you, though. Quite a bit, actually. Damn you. I can't believe it. You lot actually pulled it off. Sorry, Inspector Cabanella. I couldn't do anything to help you. And there I am, a poor broken heap of arms and legs. But no matter, I enjoyed the show. The magic disappearing act, that is. Nothing like it, baby. Yeah, except, unlike a normal magic trick, I'm the one that managed to vanish without a trace here. Well, that's part 1 done. What's the matter? You look like you'd rather be dead, not that you aren't. I was just remembering the fact that, right about now, the real me is giving the poor Justice Minister a real fright. On that phone call? Yeah, well, he was pretty upset. Excuse me, mister. You really shouldn't be mean like that. And what is this lively little creature? Oh, this little doggy is the warrior who keeps Camilla safe. Or he would be if he was still full of life. Camilla. Gods in heaven, what a terrible thing. That poor little girl taken hostage. It's a cruel twist of fate indeed. Wait a minute. Miss Camilla is a hostage? Yes, we're sorry, little warrior. Miss Camilla, a hostage? What's a hostage? Anyway, Inspector Cabanella. Time to save your life now. But I couldn't get very far when you tried before, am I right? But this time it's different, right, Sissel? That's right. With us working together, it's a whole different situation. We'll go save the Inspector in white, and then we'll rescue Camilla, okay? Okay, let's hurry up and get through this. Gee, kids, you're making it feel like an afterthought. Alright, let's get started. Inspector Cabanella is upstairs. Our first step should be to get up there. Sissel, I'll go first and wait for you. Okay, lovey-dove, we need your help. Carry this measuring device upstairs. It has Mr. Ghost in it, so don't drop it. You've got grit, little pigeon. I better get up there before the little pigeon's strength gives out. Missile is waiting for me. I better hurry. There you are, Sissel. Sorry for the wait, Missile. "4 minutes from now, the Inspector will be killed by a gun. You just jump in there and stop him from firing, would you? Ah, there you go again with that stuff. Besides, it doesn't make any sense. If you stop him from firing, he'll just kill you some other way. Wait a minute, that sounds familiar. Yep, same situation as mine. Your best bet this time around is to allow him to shoot and then save Mr. Cabanella without him noticing. Oh, it's even worse than last time. Anywho, jump in there and do something. Okay, I'm ready to jump in, Sissel. Don't forget, whenever you want to use my powers, just tap RT. Okay. Now I can make my move. I need to move the lamp. Move it. There we go. Uh-oh, he noticed. Guess it didn't matter. Yikes, I'm a little scared right now. Why didn't he die? Because he's already dead. He died 10 years ago. I knew full well he wouldn't die if I shot him. Then why did you go to the trouble of shooting him at all? Time's almost up. That's enough chit-chat. But now the situation has changed slightly. These last split seconds are our last chance. Okay. Well, would you look at that, right on the hook. I love knit hats, so warm and most of all soft. Hey, now that I'm looking at it, that hat is the same shape as that helmet you just knocked down. Ah, I thought so. This part. Again? I'm gonna get shot again? No, wait, our chance is coming up. The last split second, right? Leave it to me. Would you look at that? The bullet is hanging midair between the gun and the inspector's forehead. Now's our chance. I'm hearing the bullet right now. Let's swap this thing with something else. What? It's our only hope. There's got to be something here with the same shape and direction as the bullet. I don't think he noticed. Looks like you pulled out another masterful disappearing act. And now I say again, I love knit hats, so warm and most of all soft. Did I do it right? You did a fine job, little one. You saved another life. And I'll keep doing it too, over and over. What I just saw in these 4 minutes gave me all the answers I've been looking for. All our research these past 10 years pales in comparison, right, Professor? So you two were working together. That's about the size of it, yeah. Who would believe a story about a manipulator? So we pursued it ourselves, just the two of us. I'm quite a crazy character myself, after all. Okay, let's hurry back to our time. have to rescue Miss Camilla. You're right, Missile. And there's a certain guy I have to follow, too. After completing his revenge on Inspector Cabanella, the man in red left, and now a new story is about to unfold in a new present. How are you feeling, you old crazy character? Hey there, Prof. We're both alive, I see. Yeah, nothing like it, baby. But I don't know if I'm getting old or what. I've got a few aches and pains here and there. Used to be a little thing like an explosion wouldn't bother me. Yeah, right. Like I'm gonna believe that. So what? The guy in red is gone, huh? Just in case, I posted special investigation units all around the building. Let's just pray the boys came through for us. Damn it. You picked a bad time not to listen to me, body of mine. Well, looks like both of their deaths were erased. Unfortunately, in the case for the Inspector in white, can't call it a complete success. But in any case, these two have the information I need to start tracking the manipulator. Let's talk to them. Mr. Superintendent, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? I haven't always been a junkyard superintendent, you know. I used to be part of the police. The police, huh? Not as a detective, but as a medical examiner. I investigated victims' cause of death. 10 years ago, I was asked to autopsy a strange corpse. Hit by a meteorite fragment and died instantly. That's what the police report said. There were no signs of life. He was definitely dead. But I never filed an autopsy report. That's because the corpse suddenly vanished, leaving behind only one clue. An unusual corpse. I bet that's what I've been chasing all night. Could you tell me more? Yeah, sure. I have an interest in you recovering your memory and finding your true identity, too. That's the only way I can describe it, too. It was an unusual corpse. He was dead, all right, no question about that. But there wasn't a scratch on him. Not a scratch, but I thought he was hit by a meteorite fragment. I don't understand it any more than you do. I was completely bewildered, but when I tried to autopsy him, I was even more puzzled. I couldn't perform the autopsy. You couldn't? What do you mean? The scalpel went in, but I couldn't cut. As soon as I tried to make an incision, it would heal up in the very next instant. That's how it went, and no scarring or blood either. And I never had the chance to solve the mystery. That's because the corpse up and vanished on us. The morgue is well guarded. No one could have stolen that body. But there's one way the corpse could have disappeared. What's that? It just got up and walked away. Got up, opened the door, and walked out on its own. Yeah, that's what I said. What? He was dead, but he wasn't dead. We saw it with our own eyes tonight. Not even that explosion could kill him. And he didn't even feel it when he slammed his fist on the stove. The corpse left behind some data from the testing I did. I got some readings from some kind of radiation coming off of the body. Radiation. I used all kinds of instruments, but I couldn't determine exactly what kind of radiation it was. Some undiscovered type from a world unknown. Wait a minute. Could it be? That's right, it was coming from the meteorite fragment. I went to that park and tested the spot where the meteorite fell. And just as I expected, I detected radiation coming from that crater. It was the exact same pattern of radiation that was as that of the corpse. the time, I thought he was some kind of immortal being. He would die only to come back to life. I wanted to research it all in depth, so I quit my job as a police medical examiner. Several years later, I came to learn the connection between my research and the manipulator case, thanks to the arrival of this crazy character here. Oh, stop now, Professor. Do you want to see me blush? It was about a year ago, I'd say. This man in white came dancing into my research lab here. But he did. I heard there was an oddball here researching Temsic. Is that you, baby? Who are you to be calling anybody an oddball? I was investigating the manipulator case then, and I had heard there was a man who quit the police force to study the meteorite. When I heard that, it was like a meteorite had struck me on the head. At the time, we were just starting to get leads on this manipulator, who we didn't know yet who he was. But we knew he was communicating with a certain foreign country. In one of those communications, we heard the manipulator say this: "The source of my power is not of this world." And that's when I put 2 and 2 together, baby. The manipulator case and Temsic were somehow connected. Which also explained how 5 years ago he used his powers to manipulate a birthday surprise for a little girl made for her mother. He added that gun to the contraption, most likely by controlling Camilla. I see. If I knew things were going to end up like this, I would have tried to die in that explosion, baby. That way I could have been dancing after Big Red by now. I might be able to erase deaths, but it's true I can't do much about injuries. Really, you shouldn't talk that way. Yes, sorry, I suppose you're right. I hate feeling so helpless. He was right there within my grasp. All our plans were resting on tonight, and then this had to happen. I guess he's thinking about his spotless record. It's not too late, Inspector. We still have a chance. Maybe I can catch up. Say, you're right. That's not a bad idea. I'll cooperate with you fully. Go ahead and fire away with any questions you like, Mr. Ghost. Like I mentioned, revenge. Revenge against the people who stole his life away 10 years ago. He's a fool. He's the one who made the decision to take that little girl hostage, and he wound up dead. He only has himself to blame. But what about when he said this? I was murdered by all of you. Detective Jowd, who forced me into a corner, Lynn, the girl in the park, and finally you, Inspector Cabanella. If you hadn't done what you did, I never would have pointed a gun at that kid. Yes, 10 years ago on that day, the Special Investigation Unit was working on a certain big case. We hauled a young man in, an important witness to our investigation. And then I did it. I made 2 very stupid mistakes. Detective, I'll telling you. I don't know anything about it. It's supposed to be I'm telling you. Fine. You're under no obligation to talk, of course. But if you don't, the Special Investigation Unit can make the rest of your life a living hell. But I've just been assigned to the Special Investigation Unit, you see. They didn't share much info on big cases with a newbie like me yet, and I wanted to impress them. It was only supposed to be a simple matter of taking his statement. But I was too green. I pushed him too hard. I drove him into a corner and made him lose all hope. It was my first mistake. And then I made another mistake on top of that. Cabanella, got a minute? The chief wants to see you about your report. Got it, I'll be right there. You stay right here and be a good boy now. And that's when I did it. I left it behind in the interrogation room. My gun. How could you? He used my gun to escape. What he said is true. If I hadn't made that mistake, he never would have had a gun to point at Lynn in the first place. We first found out about the manipulator's existence during a certain overseas communication. Overseas communication? For national security purposes, this country keeps tabs on the communications networks. This
particular communication was about making a deal with a certain foreign country. He said he wanted them to buy him and his powers. That's how we first heard about him. Of course, we didn't know what he looked like at the time. In order to prove of these powers of his, he gave them 2 predictions. He foresaw 2 completely preposterous, impossible cases. The case of a man who would sing national secrets during a live rock concert broadcast, and the case of a man who would take the chief commissioner hostage in his own office. Those 2 inmates at the special prison, eh? We kept tabs on that communication and launched an investigation. And then finally, we pinpointed where they were going to meet tonight and staked it out. That restaurant, the Chicken Kitchen. The manipulator plans on leaving the country tonight on a submarine that belongs to another country in this deal. The submarine. But we haven't been able to figure out where it's going to surface. It's terrifying to think what would happen if those powers were to fall into the wrong hands. Right, highly unlikely they'd use them for a peaceful purpose. And now they have that little girl as a hostage. Camilla, we have to stop him before he leaves the country. This spotless record of yours, is it really that important to you? Of course, baby. In some ways, it's more important to me than my life. And your life, huh? After all, it's because of my record that I'm able to get my hands on all intel as the head of the Special Investigation Unit. And because of my position, I get to direct all aspects of the investigation into the manipulator case. The manipulator case? That's why you cared about your record so much. Of course. Why else, baby? I just never could believe it, man. Jowd shooting Alma? I didn't care if he confessed. There's definitely something more to the story, some secret. I did everything I could to climb the ladder, everything in my power. And then I finally found the answer. It took 5 long years, though. The manipulator. He's gonna prove that Jowd is innocent. What incredible determination. There's one thing I don't understand. If you were so determined to help Detective Jowd, why didn't you help him escape from prison? Well, that's an easy one, baby. Escaping from prison is a crime. I wasn't about to help him commit a crime after spending 5 years trying to prove him innocent. And he himself asked to be executed, you know? As a man of the law, I had to make sure that the execution was stopped legally. And that's why I brought him before the Justice Minister, too. I needed to buy as much time as I possibly could, baby. So that's it, huh? But there's one little unfortunate result of all this. Lynn completely misunderstood your intentions. Ha! What little misunderstanding. My baby will come around, give it time. But there are more important things to do with our time tonight. So that contraption in the basement here, you built that to try to help Detective Jowd. That's right. Jowd and I worked together back when I was with the Force. I used the reports of his case to try and recreate the device. But there was just one part of it that I couldn't reproduce no matter how hard I tried. Camilla told Jowd it did something it shouldn't have and made an impossible move. I added that part to the device I recreated. I put in a part that would allow Cupid to rotate, otherwise the gun wouldn't fire. So that must mean somebody manipulated Camilla's contraption. As a result, we proved to ourselves that the manipulator actually existed. Inspector Cabanela. Hey, baby. Sorry about that phone call. I must have sounded like a real villain. I hated to spoil your image of me. Of that cool cat inspector you always looked up to. Is that really the image she had of him? Inspector Cabanela, I'm sorry, I just heard. You were chasing after that man all this time to try and help Detective Jowd. This manipulator is such a dangerous character. I was hoping you didn't have to be involved. So that's why you had me arrested tonight, isn't it? Like I always say, if somebody's in the way, throw him in the slammer. Yikes. Tonight, I really thought we finally had him. But my body gave out on me right at the critical moment. It's like a cruel joke. Ha ha ha. But a joke is a joke. You might as well laugh. Jowd! The minister called off the execution order. And while he was at it, he let Detective Jowd go free until tomorrow morning, too. That's a pretty extreme while he was at it. Sorry I took so long to get here. You can leave the rest to me. There you go again. You've always been like that. You make everybody else run around and then you swoop in at the last second.
Jowd. 5 years ago, you left this coat with me before you turned yourself in. I promised to give it back to you one day. So he is the real main character, the detective. I've been waiting so long, Detective Jowd. Waiting for this day to come.
Thanks for not giving up on me, then. Okay, I'm off then. Good luck, my old friend. This present you gave me, it's just what I needed. Thank you. Glad you like it.
Sissel, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. You and I have to go find that man. I need your help. Will you do this with me? Sure, but how? We don't know where the submarine is and the phone line doesn't work. They use communication cables to make their calls. Yeah, somehow we'll get you hooked up to those. We'll see. Could you wait here until we do, please? Okay, fine. I'm counting on you. This true self you're looking for. I bet you'll find it soon. Alright, I'm leaving, Inspector Cabanella. It's almost dawn. I'm not who I thought I was. I'm actually further from knowing who I am than ever, but now I don't feel so alone. Each one of us, for his or her own reasons, is looking for the truth. Together, I think we can shed light on these mysteries and drive away the darkness, but it's almost dawn. Alright, well thanks for joining me. That was a long one. I think they're only going to get longer from here, so buckle up. There's going to be at least 3 more chapters we got to do, so stay tuned for that. We'll have more Sea of Stars tomorrow, more Pillars of the Earth on Saturday, and then we'll be doing something new on Sunday. I don't know. Haven't really decided yet, but we'll figure something out. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.